I want to thank you for taking the time and follow along with me goal and shot analysis from our season, fall of 2024. I want to put one of these together because we have a large enough sample size to analyze not only our own shots and goals, but also the opposition's. This is going to be for the U19 team. We're going to look at a bunch of different things. We're looking at total shots, the shot locations, the total goals, what kind of goals they were, the goal locations, and the tactics used for the goals. And why would you want to sit down for 20, 30 minutes and watch this? Well, it's going to give you lessons in the numbers of actually saying definitively, this is where the shots are coming from. These are where our goals are coming from. This is where the opposition goals are coming from. And so that way we can improve ourselves as individual players, but also as a team. It's also going to lend itself to tell me what to train for the rest of this season and for next spring. Unfortunately, because of various circumstances, I wasn't able to add every single game, but there's a large enough sample size, and the sample size includes our biggest kind of rivals in our division. So that's going to be the at Vashon game, the RSA 1 game, the at home trip for Vashon, the RSA 2 game, the Avanti game, the West Seattle game, and that South Lake team at South Lake. Games not in the sample are the 6-3 win at Harbor, the 4 win at South Lake or with South Lake at home, and the 6-0 win at FME. We're going to start by looking at shots. In the total number of shots in the sample size, we had 24 and the opposition had 57. So right around 2-1, they were taking twice as many shots that we were. Now the opposition may be out shooting us by 2-1, but let's look at where the shots are coming from. So right here, you can see that the bulk of our shots are coming from the front center of the box or the back center of the box. That's well over 50%. And then if you add the side of the box, yeah, we have an incredible amount of our shots that are coming from the box. So to remind everybody where these positions are, the front center of the box, eight of our shots, or 34% of our shots are coming right in front of the goalie. Our next most popular area to shoot from is from the side of the box. That's 7 shots, or 29% of our shots. Third most popular is the back center of the box, 5 shots for 24% of our shots. We did have 2 shots from those half spaces. We were getting really adventurous once from these low wide zones. And we had 1 shot from the center space. What's really cool is we did not take a single shot from those high wide zones. That is a very low percentage shot. And I'm glad to see that we did not waste any efforts when we got the box into that area. Now let's compare that to the opposition. The opposition, their favorite place to take shots are center spaces. As a defensive coach, you're going to take this all day long. Shots, long range, from the center space. The goalie can see it the entire way coming in. That's a great location. Their next place is that half space. So the bulk of the opposition shots are coming from outside the box. So breaking down the opposition shots again, in the center space, 18 shots, 32% of their shots are coming from ice. So a third of their shots are coming from the center space outside the box. That's really good defending. Their next most popular area were the half spaces. So 14 shots, 25% of their shots are coming from these half spaces. Their third most likely place to shoot is from the back center of the box. 9 shots or 16% of the chances. And coming in fourth, finally, is the most dangerous area for us, and that's 7 shots or 12% of the opposition shots coming from that front center of the box. They had 1 shot from the low wide zones, or 2% of their shots. And they had 2 really low percentage shots from these high wide zones, 3% of the shots. So going back to that idea that the opposition's taken 2-to-1 ratio shots to ours, let's look at shot and chance quality. Because our shots are coming from the back center of the box, the side of the box, or in the front center of the box, our number of chance quality is much, much higher. So if you look at it, 83% of our shots are from the box. That means they are really high quality shots. And we're only taking low quality shots only 17% of that time. And what that tells me is that we've successfully been able to incorporate the ideas of training from the spring, of maintaining possession in the final third in order to create high quality chances. And my hat's off to the guys for doing that. And comparing the opposition, once again, their shot location is happening all outside the box. And so if you look at it in terms of high quality versus low quality, 61% of their shots are happening outside the box, and 39% of their shots are happening inside the box. I want to reiterate one last time, even though we are being blown out of the water in terms of the number of shots per game, our high quality shots are almost even with our opposition. Our defense is doing a phenomenal job of limiting the chances to the opponent strikers to really risky low percentage shots. So congratulations to our midfield and to our defense for keeping that way. And if you look at the high quality shots, it's almost even. So they might be taken 2-to-1, but the high quality, it's almost even. So that means we have a very, very close division. I think really the margin of error for all the teams, like the top 5-6 teams, any one of those teams could win, lose, or draw on any given weekend. And it's only by luck, rain, or field that it's separated. What it also means is that we have the ability, if we make small changes, we should be able to start winning more games if we're able to effectively recognize where our opportunities for change are. This is the final slide for shots. And once again, it just reiterates the chance quality for the opposition. They're running 61% to 39% to low to high quality, whereas 83% of our shots are high quality from inside the box. That's incredible. That right there shows you that we have a style of play and that we stick to it. And I want to thank the players, and I want to thank everybody involved in the training of the last, how many years we've been doing this. This is the number that I want to see as a coach. This is the numerical visualization of our style of play. Can we get into the box? Can we maintain possession in the final third? Can we get numbers into the box? And can we always create the highest quality chance possible? Let's switch our attention to goals. We're going to look at total goals, the type of goals that were scored, the goal locations, and the tactics used for the goals. Okay, number of goals. Now, I want to make sure before everybody freaks out, when you look at the pie graph, it says number of goals versus pack versus opposition. Yes, the opposition is outscoring us by a lot. Remember, our 3 biggest wins are not in this data set. This is only a comparison to those top teams, the teams that we are battling week in, week out for supremacy in the division. So I didn't include the other teams that we won 6-0, 4-0, 6-3. That would have really padded the stats and probably hid some type of biases, those kind of things, just to, well, like I said, it would have padded the stats. and the information extracted wouldn't have been as valuable. So yeah, unfortunately, the opposition is outscoring us in the data set, and we are losing a bunch of these games or tying a bunch of these games. Types of goals, 3 of them came off of free kicks, 3 of them came off of corner kicks, and 8 of them came off of open play. We were scoring mostly off of open play and corner kicks. Oddly enough, on these really big battle-y kind of games, neither team was awarded any type of penalties. So where are these goals coming from? It should shock no one that they're coming from the box. 36% is coming from the front side of the box and 29% from the side of the box. That's our castle. Whenever the ball gets into those dangerous areas, that's why it's a dangerous area, because that's where the goals are going to come from. Goal locations, you can see front center of the box, the highest at 36, the side of the box at 29. Then the center space, they pick up 2 goals from the center space. They get 1 goal from the half spaces and 1 goal from the wide zones, and the 1 from the back center of the box. So they do get lucky. They're shooting from a lot from those outside spaces, and we did let a couple goals go in there, little freakish little goals. And we'll kind of look at some clips to discover those goals in a little bit. So the tactics used for those goals, the biggest ones, it was a direct free kick and a corner kick. That makes up 44%. Those 2 together make up 44% of the tactics used in the goals. So that tells me we have a problem with set pieces. We have a problem defending corners and defending free kicks. And I'm not sure if it's the corner directly or if it's that second ball, third ball, fourth ball inside the box when it gets into the mixer. Are we not being aggressive enough? Are we winning it but then trying to dribble out? Those are all things we have to ask ourselves as we look at the clips and look at the game tape. Other popular ways of scoring against us, we have a combi wide play. We have counter from the final third. Counter from the final third, that's building out of the back and we losing the ball. That's what that is. So that happened about 14% of the time. Switch of play happened once. We only allowed 1 crossing score, meaning that popular tactic that everybody thinks it scores, where you swing the guy out wide and you loft the ball in for a header. Yeah, that they only scored once against us all season in all these important games. Only once. This is why I don't coach this. If you want to score, you don't coach that. And I know it's everybody's favorite little darling and it looks awesome. It's a low chance operation. But it did get 1 into us, and I'll show you why I have that clip too. Okay, we're going to once again use these numbers to find lessons to go forward, and we're going to find patterns in the numbers to try to improve, both as an individual and as a team. And the big thing that sticks out in my mind is that corners and free kicks are our #1 problem on defense. 44% of the goals conceded are coming from corners and free kicks. Now that number actually gets worse because I built the presentation and I ran the numbers prior to the RSA game on Sunday, and I'm recording it after the RSA game. And once again, we let in a corner kick goal and we let in a free kick goal to lose that game. The next #2 way of teams scoring against us are for counterattacks from turnovers and bad locations. And generally, that's going to be a build out of the back issue. And that's okay. 28% of the goals conceded. There are going to be times where we are going to lose the ball when we try to have possession, when we try to build out of the back. That is our style of play. I'd much rather have known possession in the build out phase than just huffing it long. And then it's a lottery of who's actually going to win it in the midfield. So I'm okay with that #2. But notice here, the 1 and 2 things, those are easily fixable problems. And They're not beating us through open play. They're not beating us through the middle. They're not beating us from special, kicks and like play through the middle or combination play or anything like that. It's very easy for us to fix these problems. So we're going to try to figure out why these goals happened and looking at the clips and looking at the actual game footage. And I broke it down to a tactical mistake. That means that more than one soccer action or decision was at fault. And that could be from one player or from multiple players. A technical mistake, meaning that the soccer decision at the point of importance was correct. It was the soccer action that let the person down. And then finally, no mistake, no grave, immediate, observable error in the soccer decision or action that led to the goal. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat to the guy, swinging his leg at the ball. And that's okay, because that's the game of soccer. Sometimes you just have to give him a golf clap and be like, no, good on you. Tip of the hat. Let's go on to the next game. So out of the 14 goals, 6 were tactical mistakes. 5 I considered technical mistakes. And 3 out of the 14 were just no mistakes, where there's no real error on our part. It was just, we just got bullied. So once again, no mistakes, so no grave, immediate, observable error in the soccer decision or action that led to the goal. 3 of the 14. You just kind of tip your hat to the shooter. We're going to look at a clip here. This clip is going to be from the one Vashon game at home. I'm going to ignore the miss of one of our midfielders, I believe at the time, had an opportunity to intercept the ball. I'm going to ignore that because I'm more interested in the run that the striker took and the actions of our fullback and our halfbacks as it led to the goal. They did everything right. The shooter's just really good with a really hard shot, and it's clear because it's not the first time he burned us, and I'll guarantee he's practiced this. This is his signature shot. The tactic here I'm going to call is a switch of play. So I'm not going to worry about that. They still have possession, so switch of play there. That's where we had an opportunity to steal it, but that's okay. This is what I like. Fullback never dove in, kept in the outside. Our center backs were defending the castle, and our goalie was defending the near post, and he's just able to slip it into that far post. So hats off for the shooter. Everybody else did everything right. Moving on to tactical mistakes. That's going to once again be more than one soccer decision or actions that are at fault. That could be from a single player or from multiple players. 6 out of the 14 goals were tactical mistakes, so almost 50%. Now, breaking down the tactical mistakes, out of those 6, 50% of those tactical mistakes, the number one reason was not protecting the castle. It was the 4 and 5 generally going wide and not protecting that zone in front of the goal. Where do most goals come from? In front of the goal. Where do our 4 and 5 have to be? In front of the goal. You have a fullback out to the side for a reason. You have to rely on that fullback to delay, and you have to rely on your midfield to run back and go help and create an overload in order for us to win back the ball or to get the ball out. The number 2 tactical mistake, 33%, was dribbling and losing possession in key areas and moments. So here's an example of not protecting the castle. This came from the Vashon game, that first Vashon game away. Our 4 and 5 got sucked out wide, leaving Carson by himself with 2 players to cover. He can't decide which one to cover because they're both dangerous, and we got hit on the cross. Here's another example of not protecting the castle. The 4 and 5 get sucked in. There's the 3 taking a jab at it. The 5 has to go out there and try to win it. He kind of does. Now the 4 is out of position. This is something I want you to focus on, though. Right here, It's the two's responsibility for the widest man. He's only responsible for the widest man and not the entire box. Had the 4 and the 5 stuck in this area, we would have had an overload of 2v3. The moment you saw the 5 go earlier in the clip to go and grab the ball, the 6 needed to recognize that and go fill that position. The next level for all of you is to understand when people go forward or get out of position or move into your position, you have to go back or recover to fill those positions until we're able to get to a time in the game where we can reset our shape. And that's definitely not protecting the castle. So this is a tactical issue, once again, of where we lose it in the build-up play, and because of our formation or lack thereof, we get punished for it. So what happened here is that the 6 has the ball, takes a couple touches, passes it, and then runs ahead, leaving a gap behind, and it's in that gap that we get punished. 7 loses the ball. There's that gap. Shot goes in. Goalie spills it, and then their aggressive striker comes in and finishes it. Same guy, side foots it. He's going to do that all day. So that was an error on our part of getting not being in the correct tactical formation for that area. Okay, this is going to be a conversation about that heartbreaking goal at the end of regulation against West Seattle. It goes on paper as essentially a technical skill of getting out, building out of the back. We were, one player was caught out while trying to build up. I'm okay with that. Part of the things as a coach and as a team, you have to be willing to accept if we are going to play out of the back, if we are going to be a possession-based team, there are times that we are going to lose possession in really bad spots. Hopefully you do that when you're, 8 and under, 10 and under, 11 and under, and not when you're U19, but it's going to happen. It happens to the pros, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. You learn from it and you move on. But I want to get into the root cause of why that kind of occurred, and all that is tactical. And everybody on the field at this time bears some type of responsibility for this goal. Specifically, if you look at the formation at the throw-in, this comes off a throw-in on the left-hand side. What is that shape? That is a line. And then also we don't have our diamond, leaving a giant gaping space right there. So how are we expecting to maintain possession when we're not in our own shape? Striker's in the right spot, okay? The 8, unfortunately, is along this back line. In order for our 8 to function appropriately, this is the gap right there. About 5 to 10 yards from that back line, so he has the ability to win the ball, turn, or pass if he wins it. Our 6, we need to maintain a diamond at the throw-in, and if anybody wins the ball, we can then, pass out of it. You're screening the defense. The 6 needs to screen the defense. Our 7 chose completely to be not a part of this throw-in at all. Had our 7 been here, we have a diamond, 11, 6, 7, 8. Then we have options to going forward. And this is critical. If we lose the ball, we're solely not relying on our defense. We're in a better shape to begin with once the transition to attack to defense occurs. Okay, the 7 gets it. He's now playing back to goal. His 6 is not where he needs to be because that would have been, had the 6 been there, that would have been the pass. Had the 7 been here, that would have been another pass. If you notice, he did scan, saw his teammate, but then realized his teammate was covered. He's got several passing options right now, and he chooses our fullback, or he chooses one of the center backs. Right, right now, our center back now has a couple different passing options. Once again, the 11 or the 11 is now the role of the 6. So the 6 seeing the 11 there needed to be here. The 7 here. Now the 8 has finally come up off the back line. So the 8 is now in the correct position. Simple pass. Now, he's under pressure from here. The rest of the defense on this side. Remember, when the ball's on this side, your defense is not here. That's where your space and time is. You had passing options here, here. The killer pass would have been to the 8. You also had you could have dribbled backwards to the goalie to buy yourself more time. And unfortunately, it was a hard touch into the other defender. Lost the ball. And they split the defenders. Now the goalie has an option here. He could stay. He could come. It's 1-on-1. I'm okay with the decision of coming out. Everybody is actually doing the correct thing in terms of recovery. Notice how everybody's recovering to this post. That is the correct recovery angle. But it's too late. Ball goes in the back of the net. Okay, we're going to continue exploring the tactics used against us. This time we're going to let technical mistakes. So that means there's one soccer action at fault. So the soccer decision was correct. It was the soccer action that was the problem. And that just comes with repetition, getting better with your technical skills. And these are the things that, as you play more, you practice more, you play harder, you practice harder, you're going to get better. You've made the right choice. That's the hard bit. Now you just have to, repetition is just going to make the game slow down and make your skills better. The number one technical mistake that led to goals, unfortunately, was the goalie fumble. Goalie should have maintained possession of the ball, or the goalie should have chosen a different, so the individual goalie skill at that moment failed them. And that's going to happen as well. I mean, it's going to rain. Your gloves are going to be slippery. The ball's going to be slippery. It's going to be dark. It's going to be a lot of things. This is also going to happen. For every massive, awesome save that you want to put on a highlight reel, you're going to have a fumble or two, and it's okay. You just have to make sure that you're forgive yourself, and you can be like, next time, next time, next time. It's that same swagger of a striker. It's just no one cares that the striker missed the ball wide. Okay, no one remember that, but man, unfortunately, you'll remember when the goalie fumbles the ball in the back of the net. 60% of the technical mistakes are from the goalie. The next one is a technical mistake for number 2, poor pass or clearance in the initial third. That's going to be our build-out play. It's just a poor pass. It's the correct decision. It's just a bad pass. Or it's a correct decision to clear it, but the clearance didn't do what we wanted it to do. So the reason why I wanted to show this clip, not only the beautiful mountain in the background, but this is one of the examples of the goalie spilling it. This is one of those long-range shots. Had it all the way in, should have saved it. Just accidentally, just goes in. Luckily, it didn't really matter. Closing moments of the game, we still won this game. We just gave him a point, or sorry, gave him a score. So here's an example of just a poor pass. It's a good soccer decision of what we're going to try to do from the throw in from our initial third. Just a poor pass right there to no man's land. Opposition picks it up and puts it in. Once again, that's our mistake. That's against that RSA team. They're not beating us because they're dazzling us with their soccer. They're beating us because we need to clean up our little mistakes. So here's an example of a poor clearance. This came off of a corner, went through the other side. We're still trying to win the ball. We had a couple chances to clear it, but here's the clearance. Unfortunately, goes straight up and then into the back of the net. Obviously, had the clearance gone out, it was the right soccer decision. Had it gone out and away, goal never would have happened. So let's switch it up to our goals, our comparison. Shouldn't shock anybody that our goals, most of them are coming from the front center of the box. We'd like to get into that box. We like to hammer it into the goal, and it's right there. We're also getting goals from the back center of the box. That's behind the penalty spot, but still in that center space. We have a couple goals from the half space and from the side of the box. So most of our goals are coming from exactly where you expect. And you can see our 7 goals versus those top opponents where they're coming from. That front center of the box is the key. You want to score goals. You've got to get the ball to that spot. And that's how you score. And man, do we like scoring there. Like I said, we're not shooting from center space. We're not shooting from low wide zones. We're not shooting from high wide zones. We're shooting from the center, we're shooting from the box, and we're scoring from the box. The type of tactics also kind of illustrates our style of play. Combination plays from the center, that means using the diamond and those through balls. 2 of our goals, so that's 28% of our goals are coming from that. Combi play wide, that means like we're using our diamond, then going out wide to the striker and then back in. We got 1 goal from that. Counter attacks from the final, that's a final third. That means that we are disrupting their build-up play. Got 2 goals from that. And the corner kicks. One of the reasons why we focused on corner kicks last week was because we noticed that we were poor in our corner kick defense and we were good at a corner kick attack. So we wanted to make sure that we eliminate the mistakes on the defensive side and highlight the successes in our attacking side of those corner kicks. But that screams at me, this pie chart screams at me our style of play is what we're doing. We like to press high. We like to use our combination play through our diamond, and then we get some goals in the corner kick. So conclusions, specifically for our attack, now that we're almost at 30 minutes already. Shot location quality difference. My goodness. 83% of ours versus 39% for the opposition. We like to get the ball into the box and we like to shoot from the box. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. That is our style of play. I'm so glad that our style of play is revealed in our numbers. That makes me feel good. That tells me that the boys are listening to the coaching and are accepting in our style of play. The number of high quality shots almost identical, even though they're out shooting us 2-1, we're still getting almost the exact same number of high quality shots. Our goals are coming from our style of play. 43% of our goals, almost half, come from some type of our combination play. That means building onto the back, coming through the middle, and go scoring. Corners are important for our scoring. 29% of our goals are from corners. So expect to do more corner work. And hard pressing, the 9, 10, and 8, creating turnovers that leads to goals. It's vital that the 9, 10, and the 8 press hard in order for everybody, for the opposition to make mistakes so we can score more goals. Defensive conclusions. We have really good organization. Our defense is really good at keeping the shots from outside the box. 61% of our opponent's shots were taken from outside the box. That gives the goalie a better chance at stopping that ball. Corners and free kicks are our number one tactic used against us, so 44% of the goals conceded. We just have to improve on that. Counterattacks from turnovers are the number 2, and that comes from our style of play, and that's going to happen. We can improve on just our decisions and our execution of our soccer decision. 42% of goals came from our own tactical errors, and 35% came from our own technical errors. So it tells me that if we clean up our tactical errors a little bit, our number of goals conceded will drop. What's really cool is that our style of play is reflected in the numbers. I am so filled with joy and pride watching these players play the game that they love. And the fact that they have bought in to the vision of how I want to play soccer. And it's very humbling. You know, we started this journey years and years ago, and I had a specific vision of what and how I wanted to play soccer. And seeing it reflected in the numbers is amazing. And I want to thank not only the players, but also the families that have been through the program. And hopefully they've learned and love soccer more than just kick the ball long and run hard. That is a series of decisions that they have to make on their own, on the field, by themselves and with their teammates. And it's just exciting to watch. I love watching them play, and I hope that they enjoy playing, and I hope the parents love watching their kids play as well. And the other cool thing is that we have the power to correct our errors. We're not getting beat because they're running over us. If we decrease our tactical and technical errors by 40%, specifically if the goalies reduce their spill rate by half, and if they reduce our tactical errors by 40, we would have the best defense in the division. The margin of our losses, we really only let one game really get away from us, and that was that first Vashon. We didn't have the full squad, and it was kind of hard. We started a couple men down, and the difference between the top 4 or 5 teams is razor thin, and the difference between a championship, like being champion of our division and being in 4th or 5th place, is a razor's edge. And we just have to clean up a little bit, and we're right there. The other thing we need to do is we need to stop fouling in critical locations and to keep free kick goals down. So that means using the right defense, delaying, not diving in, because a lot of those fouls are coming in because we're diving in. But these are all things that we can correct. And if you stick with it, and if you practice hard, we will get better. And we still have room to grow. Think of the amount of growth that you guys have undertaken over the last couple of years. You know, we're no longer the smallest out there. We're still, some of these guys are 6'4" that we're run up against. But we used to be much slower. We used to be much smaller. And we needed to play our style of play in order to get around them, in order to get around the opposition, to negate their physical stature. And now that we've caught up in our stature, now we need to then continue to press forward with our skills in order to achieve that win at the end of the 90. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to watch this and kind of break down the numbers with me to kind of see where our goals and shots are coming from and where the opposition goals and shots are coming from this season. It's an interesting journey. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody, the people that have joined us recently on our journey, and for those of you who have been around with me for a long time, thank you so much. I very much enjoy coaching this group of fine young men, and I hope to be doing it for several years to come. And I hope that you guys will be back in the spring and continue on this journey and to have a good time. Let's finish the season on a great high note and take care.